There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when the rejection you face stops being a wound and becomes a doorway, a portal, a catalyst that pulls out a version of you that even you didn't know was waiting beneath the surface. People often assume that rejection breaks you, but for someone chosen, it does something entirely different. It triggers an activation. It wakes up something ancient in your spirit, something powerful, something undeniable. When they pushed you away, when they dismissed your presence, when they acted as though you had nothing to offer, they unintentionally flipped a switch inside you that set your destiny in motion. They thought you would fall apart, but instead you fell into alignment. They believed that turning their back on you would slow you down, but instead it cleared your path. What they meant for harm became the very thing that revealed your strength and awakened your purpose. Because when a chosen one is rejected, it forces a confrontation between who you were and who you are meant to become. You begin to see yourself differently. You start recognizing your worth without the need for anyone else's validation. Rejection strips away illusions of needing approval, illusions of needing permission, illusions of needing someone to open a door for you. You discover that the door was already inside you. Every time someone looked at you and assumed you weren't enough, every time they acted arrogantly as if losing you meant nothing, every time they underestimated your presence, they unknowingly fueled the fire within you. It pushed you to tap into reservoirs of strength that had been waiting, quiet, untouched, until the right moment. Rejection forces you into self-discovery. It teaches you how to rely on your own voice instead of the opinions that once shaped you. You begin to reflect on your abilities, your potential, your inner power. You start realizing that the places you were rejected from were too small for the size of the spirit within you. Sometimes the universe allows people to reject you because it knows you would have stayed loyal to environments far beneath your calling. It knows you would have dimmed your light to make others comfortable. So those rejections act as divine redirections. They aren't punishments, they are interventions. They are the push you needed to step out of the version of you that settled into the version of you that ascends. And in that transition, something else happens. You gain clarity. Suddenly you can see the people who were never meant to walk with you. You recognize the situations that were draining you instead of growing you. You see how much potential you were suppressing just to maintain connections that were never meant to last. Rejection helps you see the truth without emotional fog. You understand that certain doors closed because your spirit had outgrown the space. Certain people left because their presence could not go with you to the next level. Certain opportunities failed because what is meant for you won't require you to shrink. Through that clarity, your inner strength begins to rise. Not in loud ways, not in dramatic ways, but in subtle, powerful shifts. You think differently. You act differently. You move differently. You stop chasing people and start pursuing purpose. You stop needing approval and start trusting your intuition. You stop bending yourself to fit in and begin standing fully in who you are. And that transformation does not happen slowly, it happens instantly, the moment you decide that rejection does not define your worth. The moment you choose to see the truth. The moment you stop looking backward and finally embrace forward movement. Rejection becomes the spark that ignites courage. It awakens your resilience. It opens your eyes to your own capabilities. You begin taking steps toward things you were once afraid of. You find the bravery to rebuild, to reinvent, to rise from the very places where others expected you to fall. You begin to understand that every loss was actually a lesson, every closed door was protection, and every painful moment was preparation. And in that awakening, you no longer view rejection as something that happened to you, but something that happened for you. As you transform, you notice the shift within yourself. You carry yourself with more wisdom, more discernment, more confidence. The old version of you would have begged for acceptance, the new version of you walks away with peace. The old version of you needed reassurance, the new version trusts the process. The old version of you feared being alone, the new version understands that solitude is where greatness is built. And as your inner world rises, Your outer world reflects it. Opportunities find you. New paths open. New connections appear. Your purpose becomes clearer. Your gifts begin to shine. And suddenly, the same people who rejected you are forced to witness the transformation they never saw coming. There is a unique kind of power that comes from elevating in silence, a power that chosen ones understand deeply. When people reject you, betray you, overlook you, or assume you are insignificant, the natural impulse for many would be to seek validation or to prove their worth. But not you. Instead of fighting to be seen, you chose to grow unseen. Instead of arguing your value, you allowed your transformation to reveal it on its own. This silent elevation became the undeniable proof that flipped the script in a way no confrontation ever could. You didn't need to respond to their arrogance. You didn't need to defend your name. You didn't need to convince anyone of your purpose. You simply rose quietly, letting your progress speak louder than anything you could have said out loud. There is something profoundly powerful about choosing silence during seasons of rejection. Silence allows you to conserve energy, to redirect your focus inward instead of scattering it outward. While others were busy counting you out, you were counting your blessings, your growth, your next steps. They thought your silence was weakness, but it was strategy. Silence gave you room to hear your intuition more clearly, to listen to the guidance within, to separate your emotions from your decisions. In silence, you discovered your identity beyond what people thought of you. You discovered your strength beyond what people acknowledged. You discovered your calling beyond what people supported. Silence gave you the space to transform without interference. And while you were elevating quietly, something else was happening. Those who dismissed you became comfortable. They assumed your absence meant defeat. They assumed your lack of reaction meant you had accepted their rejection. They assumed your stillness meant stagnation. They thought they had the final say in your story. But silent growth is deceptive to the outside world. It looks like nothing is happening, yet everything is happening beneath the surface. Like a seed buried in darkness, your elevation was unfolding in hidden places. You were growing roots strong, deep, unshakable. You were strengthening your foundation so that when you rose, you would rise unmovable. Your silent elevation didn't just change your life, it changed your identity. You became wiser. You became sharper. You become more selective with what you entertain, more intentional with where you spend your energy, more aware of the environments that no longer match your spirit. You outgrew the very spaces where rejection took place. You rose above the versions of yourself that sought approval. You stepped into a level of self-understanding that made you untouchable by the opinions of others. Silence became your shield, allowing you to elevate without distraction and without emotional interference. People often expect revenge when they wrong someone. They expect anger, bitterness, or public reactions. But chosen ones don't retaliate with noise, they retaliate with growth. They retaliate with transformation. They retaliate with evolution. Your new level became your response. Your glow became your comeback. Your peace became your boundary. Instead of lowering yourself to match the energy of those who rejected you, you raised your frequency. You healed. You aligned. You elevated. And that silent, graceful rise disrupted everything they thought they knew about you. Eventually the world begins to notice what silence has built. The same people who overlooked you start seeing the progress they never expected. The same ones who believed they had the upper hand witness the strength that emerged from your stillness. They see the opportunities coming your way, the blessings unfolding, the inner peace you walk with, the confidence you now carry. They see the transformation they never thought possible. What they dismissed now demands their attention. What they rejected now carries weight. What they walked away from now shines with undeniable worth. Your silence didn't hide you, it refined you. There is also a deeper reason why your silent elevation flipped the script without needing confrontation. When you rise quietly, the results speak for themselves. You never had to say, "Look at me now." Life said it for you. Divine timing said it for you. Your growth said it for you. The transformation became your voice, the glow became your announcement, the success became your vindication. You didn't have to expose anyone's intentions, their own behavior exposed itself when confronted with your growth. You didn't have to prove them wrong, your evolution did that naturally. And as you continued to rise silently, something within you shifted permanently. You learned that your power doesn't come from being loud, it comes from being aligned. It comes from being rooted. It comes from knowing who you are without needing validation. You learned that the best revenge is not proving people wrong, it's proving yourself right. It's stepping into the life you were meant to live all along. It's becoming the version of yourself that rejection pushed you toward. This is why the script flipped without a single argument, without a single explanation, without a single attempt to make anyone understand you. In your silence, you found clarity. In your growth, you found purpose. And in your elevation, you found the truth about your own power. And while they were busy assuming you had fallen off, you were rising into the very destiny they were never meant to join. Silence wasn't emptiness, it was preparation. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when the tables turn so sharply that even you can feel the shift in the air. The people who once dismissed you, who spoke to you with arrogance, who treated you as though your presence held no value, eventually come face to face with the reality they never expected, the version of you that rose from the very places where they tried to diminish you. Those who underestimated you are now witnessing a breakthrough that they had no role in building, yet they are forced to observe it unfold before them. They once saw you through the lens of their own limitations, not realizing you were operating under divine timing and spiritual protection. They didn't know your silence was strategy. They didn't know your setbacks were preparation. They didn't know you were evolving quietly into someone they would no longer recognize. This shift isn't just external, it's internal. You changed on a soul level. You reached a point where validation no longer fueled you. You stopped relying on the opinions of others to shape your identity. You grew beyond the need to prove anything. And because you grew, the lens through which the world views you grew as well. People can no longer approach you with the same disregard. They can no longer speak to you with the same entitlement. They can no longer underestimate your capabilities. Your energy has changed, and when your energy changes, everything connected to you must shift as well. What makes this transformation so powerful is that you didn't force anything. You didn't chase. You didn't beg. You didn't try to win back approval from those who discarded you. Instead, you surrendered to the process. You allowed life to rearrange itself around your purpose. You let go of the attachments that once held you down. You stopped engaging in battles that were beneath your spirit. You stopped explaining your worth to people committed to misunderstanding it. And as you detached, the universe elevated you. There is a spiritual law that always reveals itself: when someone tries to block a chosen one, they block themselves. When someone tries to dim your light, their own path becomes darker. When someone tries to belittle you, they shrink in the process. This is why those who look down on you are now forced to look up. Not because you sought revenge or because you wanted them to suffer, but because your growth became undeniable. They didn't expect you to rise. They didn't expect you to heal. They didn't expect you to elevate. And now, every breakthrough you experience becomes a reminder of what they failed to see. They watch you step into opportunities they thought you were unqualified for. They watch connections form around you that they never imagined you would have access to. They watch your confidence increase, your clarity deepen, your presence strengthen. The very things they once mocked you for have now become your greatest strengths. Your heart, which they took advantage of, is now the foundation of your emotional intelligence. Your patience, which they misinterpreted as weakness, is now the anchor of your resilience. Your silence, which they assumed was insecurity, became the ground where your power was rebuilt. This transformation is not meant to shame them, it is meant to reveal you. It is a spiritual unveiling, a moment when everything hidden within you rises to the surface. And because this rise is authentic, it can't be denied, minimized, or ignored. Even the people who rejected you must acknowledge what they are seeing. They may not speak it out loud, but they feel it. They feel the shift. They feel the difference. They feel the weight of what they walked away from. What they failed to understand is that chosen ones are not defined by rejection. They are refined by it. Every setback pushed you closer to your purpose. Every closed door redirected you toward a better one. Every dismissal hardened your determination. Every moment of feeling overlooked became a lesson in self-recognition. Instead of breaking you, rejection unlocked a deeper level of identity within you. It shaped your spirit. It sharpened your intuition. It strengthened your ability to stand alone without losing yourself. Now, when people look at you, they see a different presence. They see someone grounded, someone intentional, someone who walks with an unshakable sense of self. They see someone who no longer needs recognition to feel worthy. They see someone who carries power without arrogance, wisdom without force, confidence without noise. And this energy is what flips the script completely. You are no longer the person they rejected. You are the person they can no longer reach. You are no longer the one seeking approval. You are the one who approves of yourself. You are no longer waiting for someone to choose you. You already chose your purpose. And because of that choice, your path has opened in ways that their rejection could never prevent. Now they must witness the rise they never believed would happen. They must watch the glow they once overlooked. They must face the reality that you transformed in ways they couldn't stop, control, or interrupt. You didn't just evolve, you surpassed every limitation they tried to place on you. Your breakthrough is not accidental. It is earned, deserved, divinely aligned, and spiritually protected. And the most satisfying part is that you didn't have to lower yourself to prove anything. You elevated and let the results speak. This is your moment. This is your confirmation. This is your reminder that no rejection can cancel a destiny designed for you.